Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Tonight's film is 1978's The Night the Prowler. Here it is, 1978's The Night the Prowler. This is released by Code Red on a very rare DVD release, like most Code Red releases are. They're almost all of them limited edition, and I was only able to find this not even on the Code Red DVD website, but on diabolicdvd.com is where I found it. This is The Night the Prowler from 1978, and it's on a double feature with a film called Devil Woman. Now, I specifically purchased this DVD release for The Night the Prowler. Never heard of Devil Woman at all. And this is the back here. Okay, and this is put out by Code Red 1978, and this is from the director of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it is based on the short story, and the screenplay was also written by Patrick White. Now, I first heard about The Night the Prowler on an Ozploitation trailer reel put out by Severin Films. Ozploitation, Australian exploitation, Australian films. And I saw this trailer jump out at me out of all of the Australian trailers on this. There were a lot that stood out, but this one really stood out on the Australian trailer DVD reel. And I knew that I had to see this movie. This film is something that is really in a world of its own. As I watched this film, I thought of The Neighborhood and Edward Scissorhands. I thought of the family in the film called Parents with Randy Quaid. I thought about weird 60s suburbia. I thought of another world, another galaxy. I thought of the exploration of El Topo. I thought of Alice in Wonderland. But really, at this point, you're wondering, what am I even talking about? This film is an experience in and of itself, and I gotta tell you, I've never seen anything quite like this film before. This is a profoundly strange, bizarre, and very, very off-kilter film. The performances are very off-kilter. The film is very off-kilter. The film itself basically captures you for 90 minutes and never releases its strange grip off of you. In the first 5 minutes of this film, and maybe the first couple minutes of this film, you know that you are in for a ride that is unlike, I would say, any cinematic experience that you've experienced before. Let's talk about this movie. Essentially, this is a film about a family with one child, a mother, a father, and their daughter. And it deals with a daughter's experience with a prowler who enters into her room at night. It's at this point that this daughter processes and experiences life differently as a result of this experience, but she was already experiencing life differently as soon as she was born in relation to her parents, especially her biological father. This is The Night the Prowler. Now, I will tell you that another thing that makes this film so unique is the cinematography, the direction. Unbelievable. I don't know if I've encountered a film that is so in your face with the direction and the cinematography. It is such an actor, it is such a character in this film. It is so blatantly in your face. I mean, I've never seen such in your face direction or cinematography in a film before. I mean, it's dizzying. It's blatant. It's in your face. It's shocking how much of a style this direction has. And I got to tell you something here, folks. Um, this is cinematography that is constantly syncopated and moving. The camera is constantly moving. It's moving, but it's moving in a ballet type of way, but it's kinetic. The camera is never still. It's never still, not in a shaky way. No, in a beautifully syncopated ballet type of way. I mean, as all of the steps from the actors were rehearsed. I mean, we have these amazing shots of movement and mirrors, and the edits from scene to scene to scene, and this particular film is not necessarily in chronological format. It's constantly going backwards, and it's constantly going forwards, and it's constantly moving in the storyline, and you need to keep track of the past or the present or the future. And sometimes you're not even aware of the present or the future, where you might be aware of the past a bit. But the cinematography, the direction, the editing is kinetic, and it's wild. The stuff with mirrors in this film, I mean, really, the movements from the actors in this film, the way people are eating, the way things happen, the way stabbings happen, the way the storyline expresses certain things is so bizarre, so weird, so unique, so strange, and the way that the story unfolds is so strange, so interesting. That's the other thing. It's so interesting. It's so strange at the same time simultaneously. Um, this is a film that magically moves and breathes. The music has hand percussion, and there's not much music in this film at all. But when the music happens, it's kind of quirky. It's kind of 60s lawn party. Um, it's kind of interesting. But there's not much music in this film at all. But when it happens, it's very interesting music. Orchestrated, hand percussion, quirky. Um, and this is a film of movement. The story is movement, and the film is movement. The acting is amazing. The lead girl in this film is, I mean, obviously she is carrying this entire film, as this film is essentially almost a character study of the lead actress in this film. And she is profoundly bizarre and weird, and really exploring bizarre territories. And she really reminded me actually a lot of people that I've known throughout my life, of people who just really are trying to process what everybody else just seems to just take and accept. She's trying to process everything, and is trying to understand reality, and she's trying to really kind of face it when maybe she feels that everybody else is not facing it. And she's not willing to accept what everybody else just eats. She is definitely an alien. She's definitely an outcast in this world. The movements, the way that she does what she does, the way that all of the characters do what they do, the way characters use the phone, and the person on the other end, it's all muffled and weird. It's bizarre. There is such chaos in this film, in such interesting ways, and how the characters play different roles, and the way that they develop and morph. And it's so interesting, the prowling that happens in this film. It's so entertaining, the prowling and the different interpretations of what is happening within the film itself. And I will tell you, there are some disturbing sections in this film, and there is some disturbing nudity in this film, or some disturbing sexuality in this film, without a doubt. And it kind of sucker punches you in many ways. And you know, the trailer for this film almost puts it out to be a bit of a horror film of sorts, and but a very, very bizarre, strange horror film is how the trailer portrays the Night the Prowler. And the trailer really reflects the actual film very well, because the actual film is very strange, very bizarre, as I've already said. But is it a horror film? Not really. No, not at all, really. What is this film then? This film is a psychological, psychosexual, bizarre, possibly black comedy, satire, twisted character study, ultra reality, or surreality. And many, many times I almost felt as if it could have been a John Waters film without John Waters' over the top talking and speaking of the characters, and this was a almost a low key John Waters, introspective in a way John Waters. It was reminding me of that. It doesn't mean it's a John Waters film at all, but it was reminding me of him in sorts. Even the pink font for the credits, and this pink squiggle, pink. This is a profoundly unique cinematic experience, and it's very difficult to explain, but I will tell you that it's unlike any cinematic experience I've had before, and it will sucker punch you, and it will entertain you, and it will shock you, and you literally, this is the definition of a film where you literally do not know what somebody will say next, how they will say it, what they will do, how they will do it, and what the story is becoming or has already become in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Night the Prowler. There's that squiggle right there that's in the credits. The Night the Prowler, from the director of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Wow, what a diamond in the rough this film is as well. All the films that I review on this YouTube page are films that I believe need to be talked about more, and here is The Night the Prowler. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. Please feel free to check out all my other reviews, and please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopy diarrhea. Thank you so much, and go to sleep tonight.